red pulp and the white pulp. So there are two types of lymphatic nodule: primary lymphatic nodule and secondary lymphatic nodule. All these very important when a slide is given, or you should able to answer all these questions. Okay. Primary lymphatic nodule, it is a area which is showing the greater aggregation or concentration of the lymphocytes which are in the uniform appearance. Okay, and they are not exposed to the antigen. As there is not exposed to the antigen, there is no antigen antibody reaction. Okay, so they are present before the birth. Okay, these are also called as a primary lymphatic nodule or cortical follicles or cortical. Now secondary lymphatic nodule. Okay, what are the secondary lymphatic nodule? In this, the central area, it is exposed to the antigen, and there is a proliferation of the lymphocytes, the B lymphocytes. As this lymphocyte gets proliferated, the area, it is appears lightly stained. Okay, and this area, it is called as the germinal center. Why it is called germinal center? This site, it is a proliferation of the B lymphocyte. This is also called as the reaction center. Why? Because it is reacting to the antigen, and there is antigenic stimulation. So this is also called as a reaction center. So reaction center, germinal center, it is a same. So this is a secondary lymphatic nodule. What we get across in the lymph node, it is a secondary lymphatic nodule. Okay, so we have seen what is a lymphatic tissue, what is a diffuse lymphatic tissue, what is a lymphatic nodule. Okay, now coming to the, yes, in the simple manner, this is a comparative between the primary follicles and the secondary follicles. If you see in the primary follicle, it is a uniform arranged lymphocytes, while in the secondary follicle you can see there is a center area which is a lightly stained, which is a germinal center, which is also called a reaction center. As there is a exposed to the antigen, there is antigen antibody stimulation is there, and it will form the proliferation of the B lymphocytes. Okay. Okay, now few of the cells we should know when we talk about the lymphoid organ. Which are these cells? These are the B lymphocyte, T lymphocyte, natural killer cells. These are chief cells which can be chief lymphocytes. Along with that, there are other cells like monocyte, macrophage cells, neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils, and the plasma cells. So I'll not be in the detail of this all these cells, except one cell we'll see which are abundant in the cell. That is lymphocyte, which may be the small lymphocytes or the large lymphocytes. What is the difference? If you see here in the small lymphocyte cell having a dark basophilic and the large and spherical nucleus. Actually, it is occupying whole of the cells except at the rim, which is in the cytoplasm. Okay, nucleus in the large lymphocyte, they are also large. Okay, but it is a less basophilic as compared to the small lymphocytes. Okay, now we go to the other slides now. Now this is a main topic we are now coming. What is the lymphoid organ and which are the different lymphoid organs? So it is classified in two manners. It's a functional classification. Functionally, there is a central and the peripheral organ. So which is the central lymphoid organ? It is a thymus. All of you take it down. That is whenever the slide is given or question is asked, we definitely ask which is the primary or lymphoid organ. It is the thymus, central lymphoid organ. It is the thymus along the bone marrow. Peripheral, it is a lymph node, spleen, and which is seen in the mucosa associated and gus associated lymphoid tissue. Lymphoid organs, there are two types. One is a discrete, which is a lymph node in which they are arranged in the form of lymphatic node, spleen, the red pulp, white pulp. There is a thymus, which is in cortex medulla. In the tonsil, there is a form of the lymphatic node. In the diffuse form, which is shown in the form of BS patches. Okay, so functional, and there is a morphological classification. Now we'll see the lymphoid organs. So here we are going to see the four lymphoid organs. One is the thymus, one is the lymph node, another is the spleen, and the tonsil. Now, as we know, thymus is a primary or central lymphoid organ. So, as we know, this is a thymus which is present in the it is an organ which is very active after the birth. So after the puberty, it will decrease in the size and it is located in the superior mediastinum. So as we reach the puberty, it will the function it will go on decreasing and it will present in the part as a rudimentary part. So as it is located in the superior mediastinum, just anterior to the heart and the great vessels, and one of the important thing it is having no afferent lymphatics. Okay, so there are efferent lymphatics, but no afferent lymphatics are present in the thymus. So remember, first line, it is a primary or central lymphoid organ. Little bit to understand about the histology part, the gross part. It is a bilobe structure. So if you see, it is a bilobe organ. It is covered by the capsule. If you see this diagram here, the capsule it is sending the septa, which are incomplete, and it will divide these outer parts into the lobes or different lobules. Okay, so these two lobes, they are divided into the lobules, which are incomplete now. If you see, these are not reaching this. You see the septa, they are not reaching to the medulla. So outer is the cortex, inner is the medulla, and you can see the light zone is there, light area is there in the center, which is communicating with the each lobule. So that is the medulla. So medulla, it is a continuous. When you see the section, so it is quite different, which is looking. Okay, so they are looking the medulla as a separate part. So this is a real picture what we see under the microscope. So here the medulla, it is a continuous with the lobule nearby. Okay. Now, each lobule, now if you consider one lobule, it is having a outer cortex and inner medulla. Okay. So this organ, it consists of the different cells are there. So this is a diagram which will explain you. There are different cells which are when there are epithelial reticular cells. As I said here, the supporting network, it is mainly formed by the epithelial reticular cells. So you can see there are star-shaped cells which are the epithelial reticular cells. In between, you can get T lymphocyte. There are no B lymphocyte. Remember, there is only the T lymphocyte along with the macrophage are there. So this is a classical diagram which is showing the cortex and the medulla along with the epithelial reticular cells and the T lymphocytes. Okay. Now the thymus, the cortex, it appears darkly stained because the T lymphocytes, they are densely packed as compared to the medulla, which is more lightly stained because these T lymphocytes are less densely packed. So whatever you see the light area in this diagram, it is a medulla. What you see the darkly stained, it is a cortex. And as we see the central area, the medulla, it is continuous with the each of the lobule. Now, as we know the framework, it is formed by the epithelial-reticular cells. Now, one of the characteristic feature of this slide is that identification features. When you see the Hessel's corpuscles, we'll see what are these Hessel's corpuscles for here. These are nothing but the epithelial-reticular cells. These are the degenerated or aged epithelial-reticular cells, which are eosinophilic, darkly stained, which are seen in the center. I'll show here. Yeah. Now you can see here these are also called as the thymic corpuscles. These are nothing but the Hessel's corpuscles, which are aged or degenerated epithelial-reticular cells. Okay, so this is the classically, if you see there is a cortex, there is a medulla, it is lightly stained, and there is some eosinophilic circular structure is seen. Okay, it is nothing but the Hessel's corpuscle. This is a slide of thymus. Okay. Since thymus it is the endodermal in origin, as I said, these epithelial-reticular cells, they are endodermal in origin. While if you see the other lymphoid organ like the spleen, lymph node, okay, in which there is a meshwork of the reticular cells are there, or reticular fibers, which is mesodermal in origin. Okay. Now, what is the structure of this this epithelio-reticular cells, they are star shaped. If you see here, you can see there are desmosomes. The cell processes, they are attached by the desmosomes, and these are epithelio-reticular cells. Okay, and they are connected with each other, and the compartments are formed which are occupied by the T lymphocytes. Okay, and each cell, it is connected with the cell processes by a desmosome. So it is a flattened and highly branched star shaped cell. Okay, why we should know these things? Because it is very important to know the epithelio-reticular cells which are connected by the desmosome, and these cells will form one of the part of the thymic barrier. Okay, blood thymic barrier, which is very important, okay, for this organ. Okay, what is this Hassel's corpus? So concentrate, this is a classical picture of the medulla. It is under the high power. I have shown this, and you can see classically the eosinophilic material is there. The hyaline material is seen in the central, and the periphery in the concentric manner. The epithelio-reticular degenerative epithelio-reticular cells are seen. So this will be the classical picture which you will see in the medulla of the thymus, which is a Hassel's corpuscle, or this is also called the thymic corpuscles. So what are these? These are eosinophilic area seen in the medulla. These are nothing but the epithelio-reticular cells of the medulla, which are concentrically arranged, which are degenerated edge cells. And the central cells, they have been totally degenerated. So if you see in the center of this Hassel's corpus, it is a hyaline, looking hyaline eosinophilic mass. Okay, so which are degenerated, it will occupy the central place. Which are degenerating, okay, A cell, they occupy at the periphery in the concentrically arranged manner. Okay, and this all together, it is called as the Hassel's corpuscles or the thymic corpuscle, which is the classical feature of the thymus, which is present in the medulla. Okay, I think it is clear to all now. Okay, so whenever a question is asked what is the Hassel's corpus, simply say it is a age degenerated epithelio-reticular cells. Okay, that's the answer for that. Hemothymic barrier. Okay, so the antigen present in the blood does not come in contact with the thymic lymphocytes, and this has to be taken care. So whatever the antigens which are present in the blood, they should not come in contact with the thymus, and this is called the hemothymic barrier. So for this, we should know what is the barrier. It is a barrier which is present in between the lymphocytes, okay, and the blood vessels. What is this barrier? This barrier is a capillary endothelium which is present in the trabeculae or the septa. Surrounding that, there is a perivascular space, and surrounding there, it is a epithelio-reticular cells. I'll show in the another diagram, which is a very simple one. Okay, so yeah. Now look at this first, see the diagram and read the other things. Blood thymic barrier. So if you see here, there is a green structure. There is a capillary in the cortex. This capillary, it is present in the cortex of the thymus, which is lined by the endothelial cells. Which you know, lining epithelial simple schema, which is called as endothelium. They are connected by the tight junctions now. Surrounding the outside, if you go to the epithelium of the capillary, okay, there is a basement membrane on which this epithelium are resting. So there is endothelial cells which are resting on the basal lamina, and surrounding that there is a space called perivascular space, and you can see these yellow things. Okay, these are nothing but these are the cells, the epithelio-reticular cells, which are connected by the desmosome. So that's the barrier. So blood capillary, which is endothelial cells which are resting on the basal lamina, and there is a pericytes. Okay, perivascular connective tissue, it is mainly these are reticular fibers which are type 3 collagen fibers along with the macrophage cells, and epithelio-reticular cells, these are resting on the basal lamina and the epithelio-reticular cells. So this is a whole which will form the blood thymic barrier. Okay, so very important for us, we should know when a fluid is given in the thymus, we should know the Hassel's corpuscles, we should know the blood thymic barrier which are present. At least you should enumerate blood capillary wall, perivascular connective tissue, endothelial, epithelial cells. And if you write all the subheadings also, like very important, endothelial cells, which are external basement membrane, there is are the pericytes, and surrounding the blood vessel there is a perivascular space which is occupied by the type 3 collagen fiber macrophage. Outer there will be the basal lamina on which the epithelial reticular cells are present. Very simple to remember. What is the functions of this thymus? The thymus, it controls the lymphopoiesis and it is essential for the normal development of the other organs also, other lymph organs. These T lymphocytes, they are trained to recognize their own cells, okay, they make the lymphocyte antigen receptor. So detailed functions of the thymus, very well detailed you have studied in the physiology part, okay. So that's was about the thymus, which is showing the cortex and the medulla, and the characteristic feature of the medulla, it is having a Hessel's corpuscle, and you should know the blood thymic barrier. Okay, Hessel's corpuscle, the thymic corpuscle. Lymph node, already you have seen the lymph node which are present there, and if you see this lymph node, they are kidney shaped, which is having a hilum, okay, through which the efferents are coming. There will be blood vessels which are going inside and coming outside with the vein along with the efferent lymphatics. Okay, the lymph node, it also contains the network of the lymphatic channels. There is a sinus. If you see in the green, there is a sinus outside the green. There is a sinus. Okay, through which the lymph will flow and it will get filtrated. We'll see that channel. Okay, so just remember, it is a lymph node. It is a small oval kidney shape, which is having a many afferent. If you see this, there are many afferents surrounding the lymph. Okay. The capsule of the lymph node, it is a connective tissue, is a dense irregular connective tissue. Yesterday, last lecture we have seen. So one of the example, it is a dense irregular connective tissue, is a capsule of the lymph node, which will send the septa, which is called as a trabecula. Okay, and it will divide into the different compartment. Okay, now this capsule, it will receive many afferent lymphatic vessels. Okay, if you see the all, it is receiving afferent vessel. Only the single efferent vessel, lymphatic vessel, it is coming out, it is through the hilum. So there are several abundant of or many afferents with single efferent here. Subscapsular sinus, very important. The classical feature of this slide is a subscapsular sinus, or it is also a lymph sinus, or it is also called the marginal sinus. What is a subcapsular sinus? Means is a space underneath the capsule. Is a space between the capsule and the cortex. Now, if you take a cut section, here you can see outer peripheral part, it is the cortex, and central part is the medulla. Just between the cortex and the capsula, there is a space which is occupied by the lymph, which is called the lymph sinus or marginal sinus. Why it is called marginal? It is at the margin. What is it called subcapsular? Because it is under the capsule. So all it is the same. So subcapsular space, it is a classical feature of the lymph node, one of the identification you can say. And in this capsule, it will send the private. Okay, now if you see, there is darkly stained collection of the lymphatic nodules. You can see there is a lymphatic nodule, and you can see the capsule, and there is a lightly stained where area where there is no lymphocytes you can see, and this is called as a subcapsular space. Okay, and that is the classical picture. What we focus under the microscope, this is a part for identification. So you can see the capsule, there is a space, and there is a lymphatic nodule which is present in the cortex. It is a classically the lymphatic. Now, the cortex is having a different part. It will show the secondary lymphatic follicles. We know the secondary lymphatic follicles where there is a germinal center is present in the center, and the periphery there is a densely arranged lymphocytes are there. So there is a paracortex, okay, which is the area which will show the predominant area for the T lymphocytes. Okay, we know the primary follicles, we know the secondary follicles. Okay, so here we can see paracortex area is shown, which will the area of the T lymphocytes which are in the predominant. Okay, so predominant site for the T lymphocyte is the paracortex, while other side it is occupied by the where there are the mainly the B lymphocytes are present. So this is the secondary lymphatic follicle which is shown here. Okay, the medulla. Here the medulla, remember the cortex, it is having a lymphatic nodes we see. Cells are densely arranged, but in the medulla, the arrangement of the cells, I am talking the cells, along with the lymphatics, the lymphocyte, there are plasma cells are there, microphage cells are, B lymphocytes are there. All these cells, they are arranged in the forms of cords. And in between the cords there is a space which is called as a sinus or sinusites. So there is a presence of medullary cords which are formed by the lymphatic tissue, plasma cells, macrophage cells and B cells. And the medullary sinus is nothing but it is a sinusoid. Sinusoid is a large vascular space, okay, which is present in between the cords. Okay, that's the difference between the cortex and the medulla. The cells which are present, reticular cell, lymphocyte, T lymphocyte, plasma cells and the cells. Okay. Lymph circulation you should know, you should be able to explain what is the means the lymph circulation, how the lymph comes and how it passes to the efferent. So if efferent they are coming from the periphery, passing to the capsule, they will, now if you see there are the channels which are shown in the green starting from the afferent lymphatic. If you trace it, there is a subscapular sinus. From the subscapular sinus they will pass along with the trabecular sinus just surrounding the trabecula and they will pass through the medullary sinus, and from the medullary it will get filtrated and it will pass through the efferent lymphatic. So that's the you should when the question is asked what is the lymph circulation, start from the afferent lymphatic vessel, subscapular sinus, trabecular sinus, medullary sinus and then the okay. Function is the lymph, presentation of immune and lymphatic. So that are the functions of the lymphocyte. So classically, how we are going to identify the lymph node? You can see there is a cortex and the medulla. In the cortex, there are lymphatic nodule. In the medulla, there are medullary cord and medullary sinus. And in between the cortex and the capsule, there is a subscapular sinus. So these are the very important features of the to identify the lymph node. Coming to the spleen. What is the spleen? It is a hemolymphatic organ. When a question is asked, maybe in the cross, maybe in the any part, it is a hemolymphoid organ. Means what? It is a lymphoid organ. Means it is playing, removing the age defective RBCs. It is playing immune response to the blood-borne antigens, lymphopoiesis. But in the embryonic life, it is very important part having a function that is hemopoiesis. That's why it is called a hemolymphoid organ. Now spleen again is covered by the capsule, and this capsule they are sending the trabecula. Okay. Now this trabecula they extend from the capsule which will carry the blood vessels. Why we should know this? Because there is a splenic circulation and you should know the splenic circulation to know. Now these blood vessels they will pass through the trabecula and then they enter into the red pulp, okay, and they will form the penicillin vessel, okay, and you should know what is the closed circulation, splenic circulation, what is open splenic circulation, closed theory and open theory, okay. So coming slide we'll see that also. So trabeculae and there is a parenchyma which is nothing but the supporting cells, and here it is a reticular connective tissue, that reticular cells and reticular fibers. Very important here, there is no cortex, no medulla. Here it is having a white pulp and a red pulp. Remember what is the white pulp? It is the aggregation of the lymphocytes. And here it will appear as a basophilic structure. Okay. Now, and it is surrounding the vessel, artery. It is arteriole. So if you see in the each diagram, this is white pulp. There is a one pink structure is there. This is a central artery or arteriole. Okay. So it is an eccentric arteriole which is surrounded by a lymphocyte which is a white pulp, and in between the white pulp there is a red pulp. Okay, so sinusites mainly consist of the red pulp which is in the form again in the arranged in the form of cords. Okay, it is in form the cords, and in between the cord there is a sinusites. And white See diagram. Okay, you can see these are the arteries. This is called marginal arteries there, and then there is a central artery. It is surrounded by T lymphocytes. Okay, it is the area where T lymphocytes maximum abundant are present. Then it will send the follicular artery. Okay, the trabecular artery, central artery. Okay, and the and these are surrounded again with T lymphocytes. And hold together, it will form the white pulp. Okay, so periarterial lymphatic sheath, which is having a central arteriole. Okay, most of the inner cells of this sheath, they are T lymphocyte. By the peripheral, they are B lymphocytes, and altogether it will form the aggregation of the lymphocyte, which is called as a Marfesian corpuscle. Alluding it is called as a Marfesian corpuscle, which is containing the B lymphocytes. Now this will be the real arrangement. You can see there is a central area which is lightly stained. Okay, you can see there is a dark area which is at the periphery surrounding the vessel. Okay, and this is the white pulp. Okay, red pulp. Remember, in the red pulp there are cords, and we know the cord, they are formed by the cells. Which are these cells? These are the reticular cells, lymphocytes, macrophages, monocytes, plasma cells. All these will form the cords, and in between the cords there are the sinusoids. Okay, where the blood will get filtrate, and these cords, these are called the cords of Billroth. So splenic cords or cords of Billroth, these are nothing but they are the cords which are found in the red pulp of the spleen. Okay. I'm not going to detail of this. You can read from the book, okay? Because we have to see other slides also, which are very important. But for the spleen, what you remember, it is not having a cortex or the medulla. It is having the white pulp and the red pulp. White pulp, which is aggregation of the lymphocytes surrounding the central arteriole, okay? That you remember, and the red pulp, which is in the form of cords and the sinusoids. Okay, this is closed theory in the splenic circulation. What is this? Capillaries directly it will open into the sinusoids. Okay, and the open theory, the capillary to open into the red pulp, and later on it will pass through the sinusoid. That is you can see. You can see the later on the slides. Next is the palatine tonsil. The palatine tonsil we have seen, which is present in the fossa, it is oral cavity. You can see at the oral isthmus. Okay. It is palatoglossal and palatopharyngeal arch. Okay, just under the mucosa. Okay, in the lateral surface it is covered by the capsule, which is a hemicapsular. Oral surface is not covered by the capsule. So it is a pair of lymphoid tissue located in the lateral of the oropharynx, and it is showing the crepes. About 15 to 20 crepes are there. What is the classical? How we are going to identify? It is the only lymphoid organ in which it is covered by the epithelium, that is the stratified squamous non-creatinine, under which there are the lymphatic nodules are present. So here you can see there is a crypt which is lined by the stratified squamous non-creatinine. Underneath there is a lymphoid nodules are there. Okay, so that is a classical feature of the palatine tonsil to identify what are the salivary corpuscles. You should know what is the salivary corpuscle. If you see this is a crepe, and in this crepe there are dead epithelial cells are there along with the inflammatory cells. Okay, all this together it will form the salivary corpuscles. The lymphatic follicles also they will show the germinal center. Okay, the T cell region, it is located in the interfollicular zone in between the two follicles. This is a very important slide for you, and another slide I will show you to identify. Theory part you can read it, but if you see, I have divided into two parts, the cortex and the medulla, and no cortex and the medulla. So the cortex and medulla, which slide is having the cortex and the medulla organ is the lymph node, which is having cortex and the medulla. Thymus, it is having the cortex and the medulla. While the spleen, there is no cortex, no medulla. In the palatine tonsil, there is no cortex, no medulla. What is the difference between the lymph node and the thymus, though it is having the cortex and the medulla? In the thymus, the medulla, it is showing the Hessel's corpuscles, which will not seen in the lymph node. Sorry. While in the lymph node, you can see there is a cortex. Above the cortex, there is a subcortical space is there in between the capsule and the cortex. And the medulla, it will show the medullary cords. You got it? Coming to the spleen and the, if there is no cortex, no medulla, then it may be the spleen or it may be the palatine tonsil. What is the difference between the spleen and the palatine tonsil? In the spleen, you will get the white pulp and red pulp, while in the palatine tonsil, it will give a lymphatic nodule which is covered by the epithelium, that is the stratified squamous non-keratine epithelium, underneath which there is a lymphatic node. So this is, now I will show the comparative slides now here, same way. I've shown the arrow, the red arrow in the lymphatic lymph node, it is showing the subscapular space, and yellow it is the showing the cortex. If you go in the thymus, it is showing the cortex yellow, and the red one it is showing the medulla. In the medulla, it is showing the Hassel's corpuscles. If you see the spleen, yellow it is showing the red pulp, red it is showing the white pulp, the arrow. And in the palatine tonsil, you can see the red, it is showing the stratified squamous non-keratine, and yellow it is underneath, you can see the lymphatic node. If you compare this slide, it will become easy. See the previous slide, read it, compare with this slide, and you will get a clear picture of the identification of the different lymphoid organ. Okay, now, so go through this because these are quite confusing slides. You have to see it again and again.